Okay, y'all just sit down. I'll tell you what, why don't you sit down right here so I can tell you a story, okay? Can you do that? Can you sit down right here and look at me? Wow. How is everybody tonight? Good. Do y'all know what's going to happen this week? What big day is coming up this week? Christmas.
It's 4 more days until Jesus' birthday, and that's when it's Christmas.
Right. You can tell the whole story. Right. And you're going to have lots of presents, because I bet Mommy and Daddy have gone out and bought you lots of presents. And you know why they do that? They do that because they love you. And they want you to have good things. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about the greatest gift that was ever given. And it's not just a story, it's true. It really happened. A long, long time ago, in a place that was very far from here, there was a man named Joseph and a woman named Mary. And they were married. And they were going to have a baby. But Caesar Augustus, who was the ruler of the land, told everybody, I want you to go back to your hometown so I can count you. I want to know how many people I have living in my land. Well, because Joseph was born in Bethlehem, they had to travel back to Bethlehem so that they could be counted. And it was a long journey. They didn't have cars, and they had to walk or ride a donkey. And so it took them 3 days to get there. That's a long time, isn't it? Yes, it is. So they finally got there, and it was late at night, and they were so tired, and they started trying to find a place to stay. But you know what? Bethlehem was a small city, and there weren't many hotels there. And they couldn't find any place to stay. And they looked, but nobody had any room for them. So finally, Joseph found a stable. And can you imagine walking into that stable that night with all of those animals in there? Do you think it smelled good? No, I bet it smelled pretty bad. But they needed a place to sleep. But you know what happened that night? The baby was born. And do you know who that baby was?
Jesus!
That's right! Jesus was born. And that was just the best thing in the world. And Mary and Joseph were so happy that this baby was born and that he had come safely into the world. Right outside of Bethlehem, there were shepherds. And they were out in the field, and they were watching the sheep, and they were taking care of the sheep. And all of a sudden, they looked up in the sky. There was an angel. Have you ever seen an angel? Well, you know what? They hadn't seen an angel either, and they were kind of afraid. But you know what the angel said? Don't be afraid. That's right. I'm not going to hurt you, because tonight in the city of Bethlehem, Jesus Christ was born, and he came to save the world. And I'm going to tell you, if you go into Bethlehem, this is how you'll know that it's Jesus, because you're going to find him in a stable, wrapped in cloths, and lying in a manger. And the shepherds were so amazed at what the angel said. And they looked around, and then all of a sudden there were hundreds and thousands of angels. And they were singing, and you know what they were singing? Glory to God in the highest, and peace on earth, and goodwill toward men. And they were praising God because they knew that Jesus had come to earth. And this was the most special night of all. So the shepherds said, let's go to Bethlehem and let's see if we can find this baby. And you know what? They did. And the baby was right where the angels told the shepherds that he would be. He was lying in that manger. And you know what they did when they saw him? They were so happy. They fell down and worshiped him. And that was the very first Christmas. Now, I know that those of you who've been in Upstreet, you've been learning a memory verse. And this is the greatest gift that God ever gave us was Jesus. And the memory verse says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him would not perish, but have everlasting life." That's right. Do you know where that's found? John 3:16. So this year, when you're around the Christmas tree with your mommy and daddy and maybe your grandparents will be there, I want you to remember that very first Christmas when God gave us his Son Jesus, because that is the greatest gift of all. All right, we've got a little gift for you. Everybody who's in Upstreet, raise your hand. Okay? All right, Riley, when you get your gift, go back to your seat, okay? Okay, Emma?
Thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome. Go back to your seat. I'm going to give you one, Katie. Just a minute. Here, you can have this one.
What is inside this bag? Open it.
Okay,
Open it. Open it. Katie.
here you go, Justin.
You're not